Welcome, boys.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Today we've got Bayou Botanicals, Mr. Kirk Robinson. Ryan, what's up, Big Daddy?
What's going on? What's going on?
Not much, man. We just happy to have you guys out here. New business, Katy and Houston area, right? Tell us a little bit about your story, what you do. Being a homeowner myself, loving the backyard, getting to enjoy it. I'm excited to learn, and I think there's a lot of facets of the business that people don't really take into consideration that just separates, the good from the bad. So tell me a little bit about how the company got started first and foremost. Brotherly love, a six-pack of beer or what?
Yeah, a lot of nights on the patio.
Yeah, patio, there you go. You're outside.
Always. Yeah.
Always.
So
enjoying the landscape.
Right. So, we've got a setup at my house, and Ryan and his family come over all the time, and we inevitably end up out on the patio, and we're cracking beers, and we're talking about work and stuff. And so I come from like a corporate sales background.
Okay.
And I've been doing that,
we did it together for several years.
Yeah. And then Ryan's been in landscaping for years and years. And so, we're talking about fences and it's always like my stuff, like hey,
Well, you are at your house. I mean, and he's like, I can make some money here.
He doesn't like me at his house.
It costs you walk in, it costs him money.
Yeah. And so, just through those conversations, and I love, like, me and my family, we love our backyard. We love all of that stuff. So, I mean, since we've been in our house for 9 years, like the inside, like it's been painted and things have been done, like little things, but the outside has been done and redone and done again, because that's where we spend the majority of our real like family time. Like we're having a good time. Yeah. We're outside.
Because you've got the pool out there. You love cooking outdoors.
Outdoor kitchen, TV.
Keeps the kids off the iPad too. And I mean, they're out there burning energy.
Oh yeah.
So that's why we enjoy it. And one thing that I wanted to talk about that you had brought up, why you were kind of getting into business, is that you'd noticed just the increase in property values that it's now adding. You were talking about how people were spending time during COVID in their backyard more and more. And we all saw it. Prices of pools just went through the roof. People were spending more time outdoors, spending time in their backyard. So, as far as like the real estate optics, what do you see? As far as the marriage between the two?
Well, how many times have you seen people like start redoing their house, painting, planting flowers and stuff because they're selling?
Yeah, exactly.
How crazy. Yeah. You didn't enjoy any of that? You did it like the day before you left. That's so wild.
I know, it is. And that's a good point, though. I didn't think about that. I was like, where's he going with this? But, dude, why would you wait till the last minute to do it?
Yeah.
And then leave for a week.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. And so that's kind of always been my thought. Like, if I'm going to spend the money and do this, like, I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for me. But,
and life, of course.
And curb appeal. Like, that's huge. When I found our house, it's an older home, but
beautiful neighborhood, mature trees, all that.
And so it was already kind of built up, and the guys before us had done, like, they blew it outside. Like everybody's house is everybody's got a bathroom, everybody's got a kitchen. Do you like an open concept or like a more closed concept?
Sure, traditional,
whatever. Like it's all kind of the same, but like the yard is kind of what everybody sees first. That first impression. And to me, that's what sold the house. I didn't care what the inside looked like. It was because the outside. Oh,
that realtor got you, boy.
Yeah. And so, that sold the property for us. And I think especially here in places like Houston, where there is so much outdoor living, that's like the biggest deal.
Sure.
Like if you've got an awesome backyard, like you're set, man.
Well, to piggyback off of that, I think COVID actually started that transition quite a bit of people actually spending their money on the outside more than on the inside.
Yeah.
Because that's what they wanted. That they didn't want to be coped into their house all day.
Yeah.
And so they started realizing actually how much they enjoy
Yep.
the the outside aesthetics of it and how much family time, as you mentioned, that they can do those kind of things.
100%.
I mean, dude, that's a bigger investment on their return, or like a return on their investment.
Sure.
For them to enjoy that family time than it is to go paint your walls on the inside.
Because we all have kids, we know that paint that's going to get another coat on it sooner than we'd
crayon,
have to replace
Sharpie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
So tell me, you've been in the business how long?
So I've been in the landscape industry for about 6 years overall.
Okay.
I back when I was 22-ish, I was in the oil field.
Okay.
And when that took a huge hit back in 2014, 2015, I completely got out of it.
Walked away from the business.
And I told myself I got into fencing.
Yeah.
I started selling fencing, learned a lot about fencing that I didn't even think I would need to know.
I learned how much those damn things cost.
Especially now.
Oh, God.
It jumped from substantially when the lumber prices went up crazily. And so I had told myself at that point, you know, I'm just going to learn all the outdoor deals.
Sure.
You know, electrical, fencing, turf,
Yeah.
pools, pergolas. I
Yeah.
mean, you name it.
Yeah.
To where I got my hands on it and I actually understood what it took to do that work and actually know how to cost people out when it comes to that work.
That's probably the difficult part, right? Is because, one, I mean, we all know what, you know, a new kitchen's going to cost because the prices of appliances are everywhere. So, you know, when you're shopping a yard, if you will, I mean, remember when we were talking about turf?
Yeah.
How many quotes did I get? And I told you, be warned, they're going to be 4 figures apart, like a substantial amount apart, you know?
Sure.
So it's about, I mean, what do you think dictates that? Like geography of the homeowners, or is it supplies? I mean, plus, you know, you were mentioning like you all have access to specific nurseries that the general public doesn't, right?
Sure.
And so, you know, also you were talking about the boxwoods. So if maybe someone gets they're honed in on a specific plant, even though it's, you know, not the time to plant it, or there's that disease that you were talking about. I mean, that just dictates. So it's I guess it's not really a commodity driven market at all.
Right.
Right. I mean,
well, and I think when it comes to the type of work, you know, we obviously we do the high end commercial and residential, right? Look, just planting a couple flats of color. Hey, look, that's just not in our realm. I mean, you can go do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Get some exercise.
And so I always tell people, I give my clients or potential clients, you know, realistic expectations before I waste my time going out there for 2 hours, walking the property, building that relationship. Because a lot of people, like you just mentioned, or you're kind of tying into, don't understand how much and what it takes in landscaping and to do that kind of work.
It's not an overnight turnaround either.
And to kind of caveat what you said, you had mentioned, you know, like, well, why is it 4 figures off?
Yeah.
On his turf, it's 5,000, and why is his 3,500?
Yeah.
Right. Well, there's so many caveats to that. There's so many variables that can make that happen. Right. So for instance, I caught a company doing turf with crushed concrete. Okay.
What do you mean? Like,
so
as far as like instead of the sand,
instead of
crushed granite,
the white limestone, and then the decomposed granite, they just took from a construction site. It looked like crushed concrete, and it had some sand in it. Yeah, and they watered that son of a gun. Yeah, and pampered it down and thought, hey, we're good. Next thing you know, 2 months later, I get a call
Jimmy,
from
the
that
5-year-old's got some creak in his knees already.
Yeah. I mean, just one rain, that stuff starts to saturate it starts to sink in, right? It's not the right material for that kind of stuff. But that stuff right there cost $5 a yard. Yeah. Right? Yeah. My stuff cost $200 a yard.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These guys, there's a lot of companies out there that I lose to competitors all the time.
Yeah, quote unquote.
That they might not even have insurance.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. 2, are they paying payroll tax on their employees? You know, just all those little variables add up to why my cost is my overhead. Yeah. You know, of why my cost is more than your everyday Joe Schmo.
So when we were, you know, and that's what that separates. I mean, that kind of goes to where you guys saw a niche market and decided to launch this company. And, you know, what separates you guys from, say, everybody that, you know, the 4th and the 5th guy that you get the quote from? because it sounds like y'all are a one-stop shop, all-encompassing,
Sure.
line of products. Someone sitting down, what do you think that one thing that's going to just separate you guys from everyone else?
I consider us as a liaison for my clients.
Yeah.
A lot of the clients, especially when they're spending 50, 60, 100, whatever,
It can get up there.
that involves multiple contractors,
Okay.
right? There's typically not a lot of companies out there that can do it all
Sure.
in one umbrella. Now, I'm not necessarily saying our company, we don't do everything in-house.
Uh-huh.
We stick to mainly the hardscaping and the landscaping. But what I can assure you is that you won't have to deal with any of the external subcontracting.
Got
So
it.
you're going to pay an extra 20%, 30% for us to manage it.
Sure.
And we are the source to go to when something hits the fan. You
Yeah.
come to us. You don't have to worry about who to blame or anything like
Gotcha.
that. It's
Gotcha.
it's like, hey, are you willing to spend an extra 20% to not have to deal with the headache and have one point of contact?
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of piggyback off of that, what separates us, in my belief, is that a lot of guys go out there and talk to the client, and the client tells them what they want, and they just shake their head.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Is that boxwood going to live in, or let's say, is that color plant going to live in that shaded area?
You're not going to
No.
tell them no.
You're not
I
going
see
to.
what
They're
you're
not going
saying.
to tell them no.
Yeah.
I want your money to go to value
Yeah.
and turn into value for you and your property. So if something's not going to live, the moment I step off that property and we're not going to maintain it, I'm not going to put it there.
Yeah.
Now you're coming back to me,
Sure.
right? A lot of those companies on the side, they don't care.
They're just looking for the one quick stop and
One
then
quick, get it
not,
done.
Not building those, but I mean, you and I know the power of a referral, right?
Right.
You
I mean,
take
ask
care of
Kirk, for
people.
instance, on his fence.
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
tell you
We've learned some lessons.
prime
Yeah.
on that, right?
Yeah, wow.
I mean, there's a bunch of red flags that I told Kirk, and he
Yeah.
went ahead and did it.
I'm
Yeah.
going, dude, it's a fence.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple stuff.
No,
You
not
got
really.
the posts, and then
Yeah.
you got 3 rails in between, and then oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up fixing it myself because I was just I was
Yeah.
already deep into the project. And
Well, I told
Yeah,
Kirk the
yeah.
biggest red flag was when he came out on a Saturday to give him a quote, and the guy turned around and told Kirk, "Oh yeah, we can come out here tomorrow on a Sunday." I go, "All right, first off, any construction company that can come out here on a turntable the very next day and on a Sunday,
Yeah.
they didn't have any work.
yeah. You know, there's a problem. That's
that
a
whole
red
thing
flag.
Is you don't want to work with. I mean, the people that are, when are you available? Oh, just name a time. I'm wide open
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I'll be there.
Like, I want to work with busy people, right? Because that means they're probably pretty good at what they do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But and then at the same time, though, if you got that sense of urgency, you want it done. I made that mistake so many times when it came to back to hardscaping. You had said, What is the difference between the two? Because I think it was a hardscape error that the guy started that same day. He came back like an hour later. Tell me what hardscaping quantifies, or what is it versus landscaping?
So landscaping is, plants, soil, all that kind of stuff. Hardscaping is anything that's hard. I mean, it's in the name itself. You got pavers, you got concrete pads, you got
it,
concrete,
like stonework, all that. Okay, got
it. Anything that's
Yeah.
it's in the name, hard,
Yeah.
right? So that's really hardscaping is. I would say hardscaping is more the aesthetic side of things.
Okay.
And the landscaping is like the icing on the cake.
Got it.
You're
got
right.
it.
The all right, now it looks beautiful.
Yes, the color, the contrast.
You do an outdoor kitchen, that's
Yeah.
your hardscaping.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
You need foundation. You need everything to get that going.
Yeah.
And then you might throw some plants at the
Got
and
it,
some
got it.
pots around.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So technology, before and after, during, existing. Is there, technology involved in your design process, and is there, new technology trends you're seeing, as far as the implementation or integration with the backyard living that you're seeing?
So overall, I would say the landscape designer that we have he goes out and builds that relationship with the client.
Okay.
Right. So how this kind of starts is I go out there,
Sure.
build a relationship. I don't go out there to sell them. I want them to talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have this all written down of what they're telling me and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then the landscape architect will go out and then start to assemble
Build the
all their
design.
thoughts. He or she might go out there 2 or 3 times, 4 times before a true design is actually developed and sent off to the client. There's
So
two
they're
different
getting,
types
like,
of
the rendering finished product.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I allow clients to have two different options. One is just straight to install,
Yeah.
where you just trust me and will let me do it. And then some people like to see the visual side of it, right?
course.
And if you're going to spend $100,000, why would you not spend $2,000 or $1,500 or
Yeah.
$1,000 to get to know what?
Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna get?
what I'm saying. It's like probably the more costly jobs.
Sure.
Have the technology behind
Yeah,
it.
someone's not going to pay $1,500 or $1,000 for a $10,000 job.
Yeah.
Potentially, some might.
Yeah. Sure.
But you know, I'd never really throw that out to those kind of those
Yeah.
clients because I'm not going to waste their time on a front bed
Yeah.
install, right?
Yeah.
But the cool thing nowadays, with the integrations that you were speaking of, is everything is just like your indoor living as it is on the outdoor. I can get you your irrigation system on an app. I
Yeah.
can get you running whenever. You could be all across the country and you can control your irrigation system.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there's a lot of the lighting. It's all on timers. The timers have changed nowadays. It's completely different than your old school, you know,
It's
like
like on photo
dial
cells.
a phone.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the old dial phone. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, it's like
It-
a photo cell kind of. I mean, the uplighting, the downlighting, all that stuff. I mean, it became an obsession with me. Is because, like, you know, when you get the trees and you're like, ooh, cast the light up there. You know,
Right.
it's great
Yeah.
at night.
Let me turn it a little bit. Get that shade, that
Yeah,
little
yeah.
shade area. Yeah.
So you know, the lighting and everything, that's obviously just become a big craze with the design, and you know, you're seeing a lot of these like steel structure or wood structure pergolas and everything and whatnot.
Those are that's a hot commodity right now.
Yeah.
That and turf.
Yeah, turf. Okay, talk to me about turf, man. I mean, I'm a huge fan of it.
Turf.
So are
Give me
you.
turf, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I love it.
I'm telling you, I tell everybody, I value that dollar spent in my backyard more than my pool almost.
Dude, it's like laying carpet outside.
Ah,
It's
It's
yeah.
lush, right?
Yeah, it's great.
So talk to me about that. You know, I mean, as a consumer and, you know, as a professional in the industry, you have animals too. You have
Yep.
children. Talk to me about those benefits with that. I mean, because I could go
man.
on and on.
The like, I don't know what it's called. Ecofill, I think is what it is.
Envirofill?
Yeah.
Envirofill.
That silicone, the green
Yeah.
based
So, like-
granules versus sand.
The the urine from the
It's
dogs
got a deodorizer in
and
it.
the kids. And the kids are peeing out there too, you know.
Well, what's Clyde doing? Yeah, I love it.
that-
I love it.
You know, that stuff's awesome. Like, there's no smell. I
Yeah.
don't think we have the same. Like, I didn't go into it thinking this, but you know, a result I think has been like less bugs. Like,
110.
they're not hiding in the grass
Because
like the
they're
mosquitoes are not.
they're not hiding in the grass where there's, you know, muck, right?
Right.
And it sits right there. It gets picked up. It's easy. It's not just weaving into the grass blades and
Right.
just, it's going to be there a long time. Kids, don't roll around in that grass. Now you don't have to worry about it, you
Yeah.
know?
And I mean, then as far as like the maintenance and stuff, like I go outside and even if, you know, there's some dog piles around that hadn't been cleaned up yet, like it's beautiful. It's green.
Yeah.
It's
lush.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's all
Wintertime.
the time.
The 1 month in
The
Houston.
dormant season does
Yeah.
not turn brown.
No,
I mean,
it
that's
doesn't.
great. It's
Yeah.
an everlasting green.
Savings on water.
Oh yeah.
You know, I want to ask you this because everybody probably has their own methods, but you know, middle of the day time, my pool installer told me, he was like, you know, if because most people that install turf had grass prior to. What's your recommendations on, you know, irrigation modifications to say during the middle of the day, you know, it might be good to have around to cool it off quickly just for the feet.
A minute
you know?
or two.
Yeah, a minute or two, right? I mean, do you advise against, you know, or keeping it for or against? And
So with turf, it's kind of like a preference
Yeah.
to the client.
yeah,
They don't have kids, you know, and there's just two adults, you know. Chances are they're probably not very often walking out there barefoot.
Frolicking in the yard.
Yeah,
frolicking.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of the times,
Clyde,
you know, no, that's exactly right.
I love it, yeah.
And so a lot of the times, I always, you know, when client brings up turf, I say, "Well, do you have kids?" And, because they'll say, hey, they'll have existing irrigation where they want to put turf. Well, what about the irrigation? I said, well, do you have kids?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I go, okay, well, do they play it? Obviously you're putting this in for them.
Yep.
To a certain extent. Do you want, we get 110-degree weather here. Do you want it to water it off? There is a coolant solution for turf, but to be quite frank, it doesn't cool it off that much.
Okay.
Now, the turf doesn't get substantially, I want to say it to where it's just unwalkable ever.
And it's only like a 1 or 2 hour period in the day, like 2 to 3 p.m. or something. But like you said, 1 minute on that, and
just give it a splash.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And that's all you're doing is 1 minute, and then it's walkable again. So
I left my irrigation in place.
Okay.
And that's what we do. We go outside, hit a button. If in the middle of August, like
we got to upgrade his stuff.
Sure.
We're hitting the button, and then it cools off everything. Kids run out there, hit it, play.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of times we'll leave the sprinkler on just so they can go run and play in the deal. But then they come in and they're not all muddy.
That's a good point, man. They're
pretty
not muddy.
solid
The
stuff.
dogs aren't muddy because, man, I mean, we all know.
Good point.
When you send your dogs out, like say it's bad weather, you loathe the fact of when they're coming in, you're going to spend the next 5 minutes smelling like a wet dog, wiping them down, just so they're not tramping it all over through your house.
Yep.
And one of the other benefits that I didn't really expect that I saw was the drainage. Like when it really comes down.
Yes.
Like, the yard, like what are you going to do? Till up your grass ever so often and re-level? Probably not.
No.
Like this stuff's it's done, it stays.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have French drains and stuff in our yard, and they were there before.
But that's also a good time when you're getting
a lot better now.
Yep.
Everything goes.
Yeah,
where
you
it's
don't have
supposed to.
dirt and stuff clogging it up in your drainage system. I mean, turf is almost its own filtration system as well.
Pretty much.
I mean, I would say 80% of the water that hits that turf, okay, maybe 75, 60, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Probably all saturates in underground.
Yeah.
Right? Then the residual sitting on top, that stuff will dissolve quick, right? Some people don't have drainage installed in their house at all. So, instead of, working with them, it's a reassuring thing that water is going to, you get a heavy pour, that water is going to drain even without that drainage system.
100%.
So,
and let's be honest, the builders out here, specifically in Katy, they're designing these foundations to be protected. So they're sloping.
Yep.
And I went through 3 turnovers of sod in my backyard because they don't want their foundation to damage and that warranty have to be executed or whatever. But they don't care about the backyard. So there's just this big concave right in the middle. And it would take, a month to dry out from a good Houston rain.
Right.
And so I just said enough's enough. Because, I mean, after 3 turfs or 3 resods, you're getting close to what turf's going to cost you, right?
Even though sod's not expensive, it's just a constant headache of dealing with it.
And then labor, and then 3 times. And then all the dang dogs coming in. Yes, mowing.
All of it.
Helps on your maintenance. You know?
Yeah.
Shoot. Hey, y'all stay in the front. I'll blow my back.
Yeah.
I'll blow off the leaves.
And so, what do you recommend? I mean, as far as maintenance, because and what are you doing? Because you're coming up on a year you've had it now. So, how often do you guys recommend the infill, the heavy service, and then daily maintenance service or not?
I would say on the turf, the EnviroFill is once every 6 months.
Okay.
I mean, if you have pets and kids constantly running on it, it's going to get turned and tossed quite often. A couple dogs, a couple kids, it's going to get ran on and trampled on, and pretty much the water will also kind of run it out too when it rains. So, I would say probably once every 6 months, get EnviroFill in there, fluff it all back up, get it going. If we don't get a lot of rain, maybe you can get away with a couple extra months out of that.
But you guys do that, right?
Oh, I mean, that's part of it. Typically, if we're maintaining your property, hey, Miss Jones, we need to do the EnviroFill. Okay. And that's part of the conversation before we go out.
I think that's a big piece of what we're trying to bring. I've had regular yard guys forever.
Okay.
And there's never any suggestive selling of any kind. And a lot of people don't like to be sold. I don't really either, but like I want you to suggest, hey, it's time to do the crepe myrtles again.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Kirk
going to
doesn't
cost
know
you
why,
extra.
know?
Yeah. But I don't need to be an expert on my yard. I need you to be.
Right. Yeah.
And so you can tell me when to make the moves and where to make the moves. And I'm good with it.
Yeah.
100%. I will absolutely pay for that.
You're going to pull that trigger because now it's one less thing you have to worry about or when it's too late already, because it's when there's a time of the year where crepes need to be trimmed and
from our standpoint, we, like I said, we're on the higher end, right? So our maintenance, there's not a contract that's under $400, right, a month. And so, what's included in that is a fertilization. We fertilize 3 times out of the year.
Okay.
You got your grass fertilization, you got your pre-emergent fertilization for the dormant season.
Okay.
And then you have the bed and soil, or the bed and grass soil amendment fertilization. So, like, those things are included in the maintenance, but anything outside of that, our clients they don't want to come to us of things that they see. Sure. We want to be on top. We want to be proactive on that kind of stuff. And that's what sells it, right? They're paying us to say, hey, we know what we're doing. And anything that we come in and suggest to them, they have that expectation that we're not leading them in the wrong direction.
Well, for sure. And I mean, to your point, it's like, you don't want to have to worry about it. Like,
right.
You're not going to say no. And so, but it's like, that's one thing I'm not going to really complain about. It's just one thing that you just reminded me I needed to get it done.
Right.
Is what it was.
But he's also not going to complain because he's paying $30 a visit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
not at all.
He's cool
not
with
at
that.
all. Yeah.
And usually it's like, it's not a huge deal. It's like, hey, we need to think about trimming this tree because this grass is going to be struggling here in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Because it's just not getting enough sun or whatever. It's just, it's
Cause
like
and effect.
constant maintenance. We're out here. This is our job. This is what we're experts in. This is what we do.
Let us do it.
Yeah. And this is what we're recommending.
Yeah.
And you might say, no, we're not going to do that right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do it in 2 months whenever what I told you was going to happen happens. And then we're
gonna
also
cost
going to
more.
replace that grass there that just died out.
No,
So,
and that's good. I mean, that, like you said, it's not suggestive selling. It's partnering.
Right.
And,
It's showing that we care.
yeah, showing
Really?
that you care.
And that someone's touching their house, besides the crew.
100%.
It's somebody of expertise. At least, our general rule of thumb is you need to show face at least twice a month on that property.
I like it. Yeah.
Something that, we're talking about implementing as well is when our crew is there on site. Hey, we have this little pad that says, hey, we did this, kind of, and leave it at their front door. That way it they come home from work. They say, hey, what
Validation of value, man.
Yeah.
what did they do today?
Yeah.
Well, go take a look. That way they don't have to call me or text me and say, hey, I don't notice what they did today.
Yep.
What did they do?
Yep.
Well, it's already there for them.
I switch pool cleaners and they do that every week. And even if it just says I skimmed your buckets and I did the chemicals, it's peace of mind that I knew they were there.
Yeah.
Right.
And you didn't see them do that.
No.
They're telling you that they did it, and you look in there and you go, hey,
Cool.
there's no
clean.
leaves.
Pool's
All right.
clean.
Yeah.
He did do that.
Yeah.
He did do that.
Where
Exactly.
Otherwise, you might go, what'd that guy do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, 100%. So as far as a lot of this, do you guys see yourselves getting into like new construction and like developments and like on that front end and being part of like the bigger process of a big cohesive
So
kind of
the bigger
project?
process and the bigger projects, they're fun,
Yeah.
but they're a headache.
Yeah.
But we love them.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And that just opens the door for another one. And so, yes, to answer your question, the developing side of it, we are in the door with some new developers and stuff. Previously, I'm doing front entrance neighborhoods. I mean, brand new neighborhoods being built. Right.
Those are big jobs, right?
Oh, 100%. Right now we're doing a amenity center at a job, right?
Okay.
And it's a neighborhood, and they have pickleball court, pool, fencing, dog park, all at this amenity center. And we're doing, we started phase 1 at the front entrance. Now we're doing phase 2, the amenity center.
Nice.
I mean, it's a $500,000 job.
I think I've seen some of these neighborhoods where it's, my mom is actually like looking, because she's, up in age and she doesn't want to do that maintenance. And instead of like pigeonholing herself to a 55 and up community, she's finding these communities where it's like rental, but they're taking care of all the maintenance. You know, it's like landscapes included.
That's kind of how this place is.
The landscaping's included, the trash is included, and all that stuff too. So,
well, this neighborhood's a little different. They, if you buy a home and you go to sell it, you have to sell it back to the developer.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I meant by they're owning that land.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. So but that's why they're willing to pay for all the residential landscape is because they're taking care of like
they basically have. I mean, their vest and their interest not being parted. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Well, so health benefits. You know, we were talking about that. I mean, you know, getting the outdoors in you and promoting the kids to be out there. Talk a little bit about that. You know, we know it really does help with real estate values, but as far as just overall wellness, and then, you know, going from that, you know what it does. I mean, you have 4 kids, right? And so y'all are out there getting after it. I mean, what do y'all?
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to get that vitamin D for sure. And, you know, for me, I love it. Like we have a pool in our house. And so, you know, my wife will come home and I'm sitting in front of the pool and she goes, where are the kids? You know, I don't know. They're out here somewhere. They're not in that. I'm watching the pool, not the kids.
I'm watching the pool. So, you know, I got to make sure they don't jump in.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. So, I love that. It keeps them off the iPads.
Yes.
It keeps them active.
Yes.
You know,
they're tired when they're going to bed now.
Right. Yeah. We're making up games. You know, we're playing in the turf. We're putting out the slip and slide.
Yeah.
We're getting it.
Well, as your kids get older, our kids get older, I mean, the outdoor space is something for them to like get away with.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm like, go outside.
Yeah.
Go burn an ant with the magnifying glass.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and so having that
Yeah.
kind of space for your kids is crucial nowadays.
It is.
I mean, it's hard to get your kids out. We used to get in trouble.
Yeah.
That was our grounding was, hey, no going outside for a week.
Yeah.
You know?
You have to go to your room.
And now it's like, hey, get outside and get out of my hair.
Yeah.
You can't send them to their room. That's where
all the fun is.
Yeah.
It's
totally, you know, it's kind of
shifted.
like things have changed now and where we're at in society, it's it's totally different. And so having that outdoor space that is good for the parents and for the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a win-win. Now you're kind of bringing them both sides in.
Yeah,
and bringing them outside.
You're bringing the family together.
I also think a lot of stuff changed with COVID. Like a lot of people got back to nature and like, you know,
appreciated it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people are starting to, you know, install like little yoga areas and like turf again, like stuff like things like that. They're wanting to get back outside.
100%.
You know, people are doing the cold plunge.
I was about to go.
You love that.
Yeah, I do. I love it. Right. And I'm seeing. Well, it's funny because my wife proposed, like, why don't we put, like, the cold plunge in the sauna in the backyard? I was like, hell no. Y'all can bother me back there. I'm going to Sweat House for 30 minutes, and that's where I'm meditating. You know, it's like, but you're seeing that. So, I mean, like, these high-end jobs,
People
I'm sure.
are doing it.
So
the grounding is, like, a big thing. Like, you hear about that on social media everywhere. Like
Wow.
being, you know, grounding.
Yeah.
Like, make a nice space to go get grounded.
Yeah.
You know, get back to nature and
zen a little bit,
man.
you know?
Yeah.
You really are, though, to your point. You're seeing, like, people build those kind of all-encompassing, like, outdoor, like, almost like their own day spa, right?
Right.
With the lighting, with the water, the running water, and that. I mean, it is.
I mean,
it's a vibe.
Fountains are becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Like more,
They're coming back.
They're coming back.
Yeah.
Like they really are. You know, they want that noise cancellation.
I mean, dude, you hear
with the
running water,
nature.
it's a vibe.
Yeah,
It makes
it
you
is.
kind of just relax a little bit more, and you know, we're all stressed and these days.
What I am realizing nowadays is people aren't just doing one little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, like it's becoming like we want to redo this whole backyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I don't want to just do turf around this little
No,
area.
it's a major project
because it'll
now.
look silly. Just that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's becoming. Well, is it better to just do the whole project?
Yep.
Overall cost effective.
Yeah.
Or
Probably.
to piece this. Right. And that's
Yeah.
another thing. Cost goes in your favor the more work you bring at that job.
Gotcha.
Right. Of course. I mean that kind of goes for almost anything. Bulk is cheaper. Right.
Yeah.
In every aspect almost. So You're seeing that a lot is where they're turning that outdoor space, not just one little section. They're turning the outdoor space
It's an extension of your home.
Right. And it is.
To their dreams.
I mean, you add square footage,
Yeah.
like perceptive square footage to your property whenever you do that. And we see that a lot with like, if there's any land left in the city, somebody's buying it and they're putting as many, 3 or 4 story townhomes on it as they can.
Yeah.
And you get like, a 10 square foot backyard. But
Enough for your dog to go outside and piss, right?
You make that, if you make that spot really nice, now you've added another living space, another cooking space.
Yep.
It's so a lot of people are doing that, and they're doing a lot more with their smaller spaces. And we've done a lot of those projects where, like we're kind of brought in to maximize
what little they have.
We've got.
Yeah.
Man, townhomes, I love them, but I hate them.
Well, yeah, because because
they're hard to get back there with the wheelbarrow and stuff.
Oh, it's
so
done by
tight
hand,
fit,
bro.
and so
I didn't think about that.
Just for that, I gotta charge you more.
Yeah.
My guys are having a hand walk.
Yeah.
All this stuff, like a shit ton of gravel in the backyard, right?
Yep.
What? I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, I mean, it is what it is, and that's just, so I have to getting your clients to understand those little things.
Yeah.
Is what sets us apart as well.
Gotcha.
Is sometimes these people don't know what goes all involved in all that stuff.
Yeah. No,
and when you break it down for them, it's like, okay, that seems like a lot.
And I think we create a lot of value when we can bring that full picture and explain, this is what's going to have to be done.
Yep.
And like you're building value with your client whenever you're doing that and lining out, this is what all is going to, because I'm always the guy thinking like, I could probably do that,
you
but
are.
Like, when somebody's explaining, like, you got to do this, and this, and I'm going, ooh,
then
that sounds like a lot, man.
I
think you're the guy for this job.
The anxiety comes. You're like, you know what? Yeah. Fire features. Are y'all seeing a lot of those? Like, I mean, is that something that's just kind of burgeoning, or is it just more of a commonplace?
I would say it's case by case basis. I mean, dude, that's what I love about what we do is everything, every job, every property is different.
Yeah.
Every person's different. So, I mean, the last job I just did, I was so shocked. Like, these people wanted all these interesting things that I've never done. Mm-hmm. That isn't very common on a project. What? So, for instance, I mean, this took 3 days to do it. We got river rock. Okay. And they wanted a sitting area with decomposed granite in the middle. They wanted a sitting area with a fountain to the right of it.
Okay.
But the edging of that sitting area was river rock, and we had to lay a foundation concrete, and we set those river rocks into there perfectly level all the way around this
Don't
thing.
tell me the water was going all the way around.
No.
Oh,
It would have been sick. Yes. But the water, the fountain does trickle in kind of around it, but not around the rock, like on the rocks.
Yeah.
It's actually more of a walking, stepping little border for the sitting area. But the fact that the guys had to go in there and sit there and make sure every single river rock was level.
It looks good.
I'll show you some pictures or something like that. You can check that out.
Yeah,
it's actually, I mean, it took them 3 days. I was in shock. I'm like, dude, Albert.
Yeah.
Why is this taking
that's
so
like
long?
stuff that goes in your shower.
No, that's exactly
like,
where
we're putting it outside.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we do like fabrication, like metal fabrication, stuff like that, awnings, whatever needs to be done or whatever is asked for is like we're able
capable
to. We'll find a way of doing it. If we can't, we'll find it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's something we've never done, anything's possible.
100%.
So, and if not, I'll find somebody who can.
There you go.
So, it's interesting. You do get a lot of interesting requests from people. I'm like, what made you even think about that? But hey, that's their cup of tea. You know, that's what they want. And at the end of the day, that's a big part of what we do is building that relationship to where they can open up to you and tell you what they want.
Yeah.
They're about to spend $100,000.
Yeah. And ultimately, I mean, I think like in the long run, we will give you whatever you want. We're just there to
if
help
it makes
guide
sense.
And say, yeah, that thing's not going to work right there because of this.
Correct.
Like let's look at this option though.
Yeah.
You know.
And typically that
give
comes with
alternatives.
plants.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, this client does all this research on plants. Well, sorry, that's for Colorado weather.
Yeah.
That's not going to make it long here.
No.
I mean, the freezes that we've had and stuff. I mean, we lost tons of palms.
That's a good point.
God bless insurance on trees, right?
Yeah. That's another
I thought
deal
I was
that we
foolish,
offer.
and my neighbors made fun of me. And then the first freeze, I was like, "Who's laughing now?"
Oh my God! And that's such a huge investment.
Yeah,
I mean,
they bring it back out, and it is a huge investment, massive. And, but my guy, I gotta swear by him, Moon Valley, right? He told me, he goes, now that we're replacing these, will you consider the palms that I suggested versus the ones that you wanted? Because the ones that I'm suggesting are better,
more hardy,
hardier for your environment. He said, yes, everybody loves the queens, but you bought a 20-year-old queen that's massively tall, but it didn't make it one freeze. So we replaced them with sables, and those things haven't budged an inch as far as through freeze or hurricane, any of that weather. Now I've got 4 sturdy boys back there that are gonna survive. But the insurance on trees, I thought that was just like, I was like, really? Who does that? Ooh. And I said,
it sounds like such a scam.
And my wife's like, do it.
Yeah.
And we
Of course the wife's like that.
Yeah.
Anything, though, that you're investing that much
I know, bro.
And especially you're talking about, these are living things.
Yes, they are.
You know?
They are.
They are eventually going to die.
Thank you for saying that, Kirk. A lot of people don't realize that.
That's a big point. Like, these things are alive.
I know.
And, you have
care.
Life insurance, don't you?
Yep.
Probably.
Yep.
You should.
Yeah.
Well, and to that point, I mean, that's what sets us apart too, is something that's going to last a freeze.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to put something in as last for 6 months and I do a big job for you, and then a freeze comes and all your leaves fall and it dies.
Yeah. The idea is, like, our model is not to be coming back out to redo what we've already done. Which is kind of the typical model now. Like, refrigerators, washing machines, everything. It's all built to last. A few years, and then we want you to come back and buy another one.
Yeah.
Which is so nuts. Like, you would probably go back and buy the same refrigerator you had last time because, it seemed like it worked pretty good. It only lasted 5 years, but like my grandmother had refrigerators that lasted for 20 years.
Dude, those Maytags.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you,
they're solid.
They are.
There's some of them running today.
I know. Hey, I've got the best garage beer fridge, because and it's one of it kicked down from the family, and they hit different, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, and it was a hard time when I, like, appliances. We went from our old school from the top, and we got the front end load. I mean, dude, that thing smelled. It always got busted. We went back to Best Buy. We went back with the top loader.
That old school works.
Yes, man. They don't build them like they used to, right? But again, I think they do that because they think, well, I'm going to run out of space to plant things. But what you said earlier that really hit home with me was, I'd rather do business with you at a higher price, but you're going to remind me when things are needed. You're going to suggestively sell me things that are improvements, as opposed to just replacing what you screwed up last year or wasn't prepared or fit to be planted in my own yard.
That's my idea. That's our idea of growth.
Your horse taking dollars.
We want you to be so happy with what you've done and who you use,
where your
that
money
you're going
went.
to tell your friends about it.
Yep.
And that's how we're going to grow.
Yeah.
We're hopefully going to earn your maintenance business.
Yeah.
We do an install for you. We want to earn your maintenance business to keep this stuff running.
Sure.
We're going to guarantee it.
Yep.
Well, to that point too, I mean, we're offering a free year of service, not free year of maintenance, but offering a 1 year warranty on all the plants that we install.
He said it, everyone, free year. I've got it.
Cut.
This is live. No.
We want to do it right once. We want you to be so happy with it that you ask us to come back and do more, and that you're telling all your buddies.
Yeah, do more on top of the beautiful work that's already done.
You tell your buddies, you grow, right? And like you just said, in the maintenance. I mean, that's huge. Like, people don't consider that. They want that curb appeal I want it to be the same as when I bought it from you.
And to that point as well, like, I can't tell you how many clients I've gone to do a site visit, right? Oh, we just had work done 6 months ago.
Oh,
I love those clients.
yeah.
I love them because those are the clients where I can sit there and I can look them in the face and say, hey, look, I'm not going to screw you over.
You can teach them something about it. And
I educate them.
Yeah.
Because
and they refer their friends.
Then they
Exactly.
And then they but they vent to me and tell me their experience of what they had previously. So right there, I was already something for me to say, man, they talk about them like that. What if I do something like that?
Yeah, sure.
And so educating clients, they're all green thumbs.
Yeah.
Or brown thumbs, I guess. Because
they want to be. Yeah.
And a lot of them will say, hey, look, I really don't know anything about this, which is great because now it gives me the opportunity to build that relationship, educate you, and have you trust me that we know what we're doing.
Good.
Right. And it's not seen as like an opportunity to take advantage. It's here's an opportunity to educate, and through that education, we're gonna earn more business from their friends and family because nobody talks to them like this. Like nobody in this business is talking to the clients like this.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean, and work shows for itself. I had one of my maintenance clients. She just called me the other day. Hey, somebody just came to my front door and knocked on my door and asked who did my landscape.
Wow, that's got to feel good, huh?
And she fired their people, and she has a nice house over off of Voss or Chimney Rock and I-10, and like the Bunker Hill area.
Yep.
And I was like, how did this lady come about? And she told me. I'm like, that's
awesome.
Crazy.
Well, that's when you know you're doing a good job. So how do the people find you before we go? How can they find you on, like, are you guys on social media? Are you got your website going, everything in the works?
Website's up, BayouBotanicalsHTX.com.
Yep. Nice.
At Bayou Botanicals HTX on Insta. I think that's...
Love the logo, by the way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
the
thank
city,
you.
the name of the city, everything behind it.
Thank you.
So areas y'all service in the greater Houston area?
Greater Houston area.
The whole... Wow, okay, cool.
Greater
So,
Houston area.
really, there's no project that we won't do.
Okay.
And sometimes on the commercial side of things, we'll get inquiries.
Yeah.
That's in Austin.
Okay.
Or, but we have all those bid plans, so we'll go out there too.
I'll be buying a franchise of Bayou Botanicals in Austin.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate
y'all
y'all
having us.
spreading the knowledge of your business. So,
dude,
until next time.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pablo, we out.